Hello and welcome to the Free Cheese episode 620. I'm your Joe Dix, joined by Matt Zellner.
Hello.
The Free Cheese is a weekly video game podcast about video games brought to you once a week by thefreecheese.com. This week, we're here to talk Quake 4 and rank it on the list. If you're not familiar with the list, you can check it out at thefreecheese.com/the list. It is a list of currently 147 games as of last night's stream of Pac-Man. I can't believe we've done that many. Like I can because we've been doing this now since 2023,
Yeah,
I think is
it's
when we shifted.
one of those things where you kind of say the number out loud. You're like, God damn.
Yeah, we've done a lot. Uh like almost weekly ranking with some of these games, which it is a lot, but it's fun. And it's my favorite part about the list, Matt, is that we get to explore so many video games now. I don't think I don't frequently step back and like look at that. We're always playing stuff, but like because of the podcast and the way we've crafted these cooperative lists of what to play, we end up playing stuff for weird reasons and games that we otherwise wouldn't have touched. Like I don't think I ever would have played Billy Hatcher and the Giant Egg. I certainly wouldn't have played Lifeline. I might have played The Darkness, but probably not. I don't think you would have played Disaster Report 4 or Endless Ocean. And to an extent, would you have ever really touched Road Rash?
No.
Maybe. But also, like, because of you playing Road Rash during the Switch summer sale, like last month or whatever, I almost bought Road Redemption. Remember we looked at that and we were
Yeah,
talking
yep,
about the.
yep.
I almost did. I didn't. I should have because it was like $5, but I bought something else instead. So there you have it. Quake 4. It'll be on the list at the end of this episode. But first, we got to dive in, take a look at who made it, when it was released, and what it's all about. Quake 4 developed by Raven Software with id Software, which is a weird. They obviously used id's engine, Raven. Um, id did some extra work on it, but primarily Raven was the developer on this. Published by Activision, released first on PC, but of course we had Mac and Linux ports, and there was a 360 version as well. But on PC, Windows first released October 18th, 2005, which, Matt, was also the day that Batman Begins came out on DVD, and also the day that Batman the Anthology came out on DVD. Fun facts for you. Still remember it. Back of the box, Quake 4. In a desperate war for Earth's survival against an unrelenting alien enemy, the only way to defeat them is to become one of them. I don't think that was by choice, but okay. Armed with advanced weaponry and vehicles, and aided by an elite squad of Marines, you take the battle to the heart of the Strog home planet and become Earth's only hope for victory. Battle outdoors using tanks and walkers, fight with the support of an elite squad, and compete online in fast action, arena style multiplayer. Quake 4. Do you think that's an accurate summary of Quake 4 on the back? Does that set the game up? What is Quake 4 to you?
Uh, if you know what like id Tech 3, or sorry, 4 is, like, by just me saying it, it's a first person shooter in that, like, this, a faster first person shooter than Doom 3 in that engine. Like, I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
know a better way to describe id Tech 4 than to call it id Tech 4. And it looks like it's that Doom 3 engine.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think for me, this one stands out because it's a direct sequel to 2.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and very much so. Like it's set in that setting, in that world. Like this is Quake 2 2. Um, just yeah, to Matt's point. Newer engine. It doesn't feel like Quake 2. because Quake 2 feels a lot like Quake 1 with some extra like fancy, oh, you know what I mean? Splashed over it. Like it still plays a lot like Quake 1. This plays a lot more like Doom 3 or like just a more mid 2000s shooter in a way. Um, what does Raven mean to you?
Oh, I
Besides,
know.
a
I
team
Call
of
of
birds
Duty.
you go and
Oh, I thought you were
and
gonna say Call of
oh
Duty.
no, yeah,
uh,
unfortunately since 2010 they have done nothing but Call of Duty. But
yeah, that was. I mean, so we go back to the previous years of this list. Quake 1 and 2 made their way on it. Then we skipped the year because Quake 3 does have a single player campaign, and here we are for Quake 4. Um, but what, like, of course, Quake 4 was going to be on the list because we just had to at that point. But, like, the other kind of reason is Raven, and they have had, like, I don't know, like I guess like when I look at some of their stuff, like I don't play a lot of what they have in the past, but I think like classic Raven first person shooters were a thing. They were like an industry kind of standard.
yeah,
And then they like go on. It seems like each iteration of id Tech, they like are right there with id Software, kind of making a thing off that engine, which like becomes like a double benchmark for each era of id Tech, which is a cool thing to see them build off each other.
so had you not played some of the other like I'm most familiar with them prior to this from like Marvel Ultimate Alliance, X-Men Legends, that kind of stuff. Um, did you go down that hole at all or any of those?
No, yeah, no, I never really played that stuff. I know they're more so like Heretic and Hexen to the like the Doom. I know they did that Wolfenstein game. I think that came
Yeah, the
after Quake 4.
2009 one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um, that's also I believe that's an id Tech as well, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so. Yeah,
I have played. I have played a little bit of the Jedi. I forgot they did the Jedi Knight games.
right.
I have played a little bit of those, not a ton. Um,
Well, let me
uh,
ask this: why Quake 4 over something like Heretic or Hexen?
so big reason for it not being Hexen or Heretic is because of a game we played earlier this year. I thought they were too similar. What was the name of that game? Well, we played in January. Let me look at the schedule.
Oh, Power Slaved. Power
Yes,
Slave Exhumed is the one
yes.
we played. Yeah,
I figured that was too close to Power Slave, and I already had one of those. And there's another one coming later in the year that's like that by another developer. So I didn't really want to crowd that era first person shooter too much.
yeah,
Um,
that makes sense.
I almost put their Wolfenstein game on the list, but I
Right?
already had enemy territory, and I felt like I needed that like late '90s first person
Yeah,
shooter represented
yeah.
somehow. So yeah, that's why I kind of land here. Also, again, Quake 4 on the list. Uh, so yeah, that's kind of like the main reason I went there. Funny enough, I did think about Singularity a couple times. Like I've
I
looked at stuff of theirs, and it just made too much sense to throw the dart at Quake 4.
Do you own Singularity?
I do not, unless I
Okay.
do via
Yeah.
PlayStation Plus somehow. But
I don't know if that was ever released digitally. I have a copy of it on PS3. I just updated my season 14 list real quick, so stay tuned.
so
Forgot about that game.
I know Singularity is a weird game. I always think of the podcast Beyond the boo. I mean that's
That that's what sold me on the game is they were so enthusiastic about the weird time mechanic and stuff. I remember starting it and getting kind of bored of it and moving on. And maybe that was for the better, but I'll look into it. We'll see. Maybe that's something that comes back around. Who knows? Um, Quake 4. Now, well, we're going to talk a lot about Quake this episode, as it turns out. No surprise there. Uh, we're a little bit early for QuakeCon 2025, but I have a feeling, yeah, Quake 2025, QuakeCon 2025 is going to be August 7th. I have a feeling that this game we just played is going to get re-released on modern consoles. If not, um, Quake 3 or both. I could see both coming. My dream is still to get Quake Live on modern platforms. I would also like Quake Champions. But I think Quake 4. Do you think Quake 4 is coming? Like a remaster?
I wouldn't hate that. The groundwork's there because they've already remastered Doom 3 BFG edition. I can't
Mm-hmm.
imagine they can't utilize some of that. Where I know that was kind of released on last gen, but I can't imagine they can't reuse some of that work for just the engine work to update the models. But I could see that. I rather them let just Quake Champions is dead. Let's just
Sure.
let's just bring Quake 3, make everyone happy. It was the multiplayer game that everyone loved. It's just
Yeah.
I think that might be the heavy hitter.
Because, yeah, Night Dive is teasing something big. They're calling it a big thing. This was on a recent Giant Bombcast sometime in June. But they said our next big thing will be at QuakeCon this year in August, like the last 3 years. So we'll see. Um, it could be maybe it's just a port of the Quake 4 360 version. I don't know. But
I don't know. Yeah, I hope it's
yeah.
not that. You can't tweet that and then just be like, all right, here's the 360 Quake 4.
Yeah. So anyway, we'll talk a lot about Quake itself. Quake 1, Quake 2. We'll talk a little bit of Quake 3. And obviously we'll talk Quake 4, but I think like setting the stage, we've covered Quake 1 and Quake 2 on the podcast before. I I remember me liking Quake 2 less than you did. And I remember me not liking Quake 2 a whole lot until kind of being done with it and looking back on it and being like, no, that was a good time. And then I subsequently like rebought it on another platform because I think I was originally playing it via Steam. And then I think I picked up because I think we play it before the
Right
re-release?
before, like it might have been one of those weird things where like it came
I think we're
out.
doing it again.
I think it came out. I can't remember if it was right after the episode or it was just too far up against the episode for it to be a
Yeah,
full playthrough.
that sounds right. Yeah, I think that was it. We were like butting up against it, or maybe recording as QuakeCon was happening.
Or did it fall on one of our lag schedules where like we recorded Quake 2 when this like it was the second episode we recorded in our batch and it came in between.
Oh yeah, it could have been that. It could have been that. Either way, I remember you liking it. You liked it quite a bit.
It
Like
did.
even as you were playing, you were into it,
Yes.
way into it. You
Yep.
like the soundtrack better. You like the
Yep.
game. You like Quake 2 better than Quake 1
Coin
these
flip.
days? Like,
Coin flip.
yeah, depends on the day. So going into Quake 4, knowing it's a direct sequel to the story, is the story one of the strong parts for Quake 2 for you? The Strogg, that whole shift?
I mean, I don't think the story was the big draw. I did like that we just went like a totally different direction, but like same gameplay. I think it's the gameplay that like
Yeah,
is
yeah,
the
yeah.
thing that carries through. I mean, I think we talked about in that episode. Like there's enough similarities from like what a model from Quake 2, like it's direct comparison to Quake 1. It was just different art style sometimes. Um, but no, like I don't know. I think like the main thing from Quake 2, like the small pros and cons for me that kind of put them right next to each other. Like I like the soundtrack better. I think I just like first person shooters when like we're just jamming. Like I like what 99 Inch Nails did. I like the ambient music. I just Quake 2's music a little bit better, but like the backtracking in Quake 2, little dip. Quake
Mhm.
1, you don't have that. You're just kind of like going from stage to stage to stage, which makes progress a little bit better and more. It's easier to kind of go from point A to point B. Um, but yeah, no, I just like I like how quick the games are. I like how or quick feeling they are. I like just like the intense combat sequences you get into. I like the enemy variety. I like the weapon variety. Yeah, I know they're different in both games, but I kind of or there's mix ups between the games in those categories, but I kind of like at the end of the day, I'll kind of like even. There's a little
Yeah,
pro here, a little con there that I like, going back and forth, and yeah,
it's different different items on the same menu. You know what I mean?
right.
This Quake 4 a little bit different. Like I think Quake 1 and 2 are in the way that you can flip a coin to pick which one you like better on a certain day. I feel like they are both different sides of the same coin. Where Quake 4, it feels like a different side of Doom 3 to me. Do you feel the same way?
Yeah, I in my first two notes, I think I make reference to this. I number one immediately noticed the id Tech lighting, which I think
Yeah.
I know that lighting just from seeing Doom 3 played so much.
Yeah, yeah.
And then my second note, this game is slow.
Dude, okay. I think I don't even want to beat around the bush and like kind of walk through the whatever. I did not like this game at all
Damn. All right.
until Act 3. Like I felt like it was so slow. I was having a bad time with everything pre-transformation.
Yeah, is that
Not
beginning of Act 2 or Act 3?
I thought it was 3.
It could be 3. The walkthrough I use isn't working because it wants ads, and I don't remember what I did to circumvent it last time.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 3 is when you have been transformed. Um but it
Yeah, that seems right.
basically everything prior to that, your movement speed is not fast. You we'll get into the transformation piece. Obviously spoilers for this game, but you heard it kind of right on the back of the box too. Um but yeah, the game's slow. The like reliance on the squads that you're with is you're not reliant, but like a lot of times that's how you get like a health refill. There's a couple sections where like you're not quite escorting because they're not completely dumb. Like they're able to hold their own, but like I don't know. There was one fight I was in where like everybody's holding their own and then like two of them are dead out of nowhere. Like, how
Uh,
did that happen?
all right. So I don't have the acts, but I have my notes because I don't know what came over me, but I took very extensive notes. Very
Oh,
extensive,
good, good.
like very extensive notes. Level 13, note. Okay, I can finally move fast. Is this the turnaround of this game?
Oh, I don't know where level 13 would have been.
Strong medical facility, which makes sense.
Okay, so yeah, that checks out.
Yeah, with the first
Um,
note in that level, that is a brutal opening. Am I becoming a strong?
okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. Should we jump to that scene then, since we're already talking about it? You get turned into a Strog. The Strog
Yeah,
are the main enemy of this
two
game.
and two.
I'm sorry, yeah, of 2 and of this game. Um, and yeah, the basic idea is that you kind of go to their home planet in this one to wipe them out for good and make sure they can't come back to attack Earth.
Yeah, because there. I don't want to cut you off, but there's a
Yeah.
small little. If you want your continuity from 2 to 4, there is a
Yes.
small line on the ship going into the first level that ends up
Yeah,
crash
that
landing.
initial.
There's like I forgot. I think he has the name Ranger in 2, but like
Yeah.
you hear that the name drop that he has killed their commander, which is the final boss I believe of Quake 2, and this is our opening. There's your
Yes.
setup from Quake 2 to Quake 4.
Right. This is a different squad. This is they're moving in.
He plays Matthew Kane.
Yes. which that was another piece. Like overall, and even though I did turn around on this game and I ended up liking it more than I thought I was going to, the named characters and this stuff, like I don't know why it didn't click for me. Like I really found myself not caring about the characters. I kind of don't love that there's voice acting in this. Like I do in the sense that I like a little bit more immersion. I think this game made me very insatiable and very insufferable because like I was I like I guess I want voice acting and I want more immersion in terms of character stuff, but maybe I just don't want it like this or something like that. I don't know. It's very conflicted in the early parts of this. Um, I did hit a point though where I was like, PS2, you're playing PS2 era games, right? Like getting back into the mindset because I think that's another problem with these games being so readily available on Steam. This I had it with Wolfenstein too, where like it's just so easy to jump into that it's you kind of forget that you're playing a 20-year-old game or whatever else. Um, yeah, and then you remember that it's been 20 years since 2005, and man, where are we now? Um,
So pulling it back out. Let's before
yes,
we get to let's just go in order of this game because if we're gonna end up
that's
jumping around. So yes, the first part it is very much trying to act like this squad based military game
mhm.
and playing this section. I think I like this more than you. Not to say that is my favorite part of this game, but like I think I was kind of getting what they were throwing down, if you would.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I couldn't help but to think after a couple stages of this game, if this game and its reception, maybe probably to specifically the beginning of this, is what made Doom 2016 happen and then abandon Doom 4, the original like
Yeah.
War on Earth game that they were originally
Yeah,
planning.
yeah, yeah.
So,
I think maybe and like
if anything, because I truly think that was part of what they were seeing. Besides the game just probably not being as fun as they would have hoped. If the beginning of this game got us that, at the end, I'm not terribly
yeah.
mad about that either.
No, 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 no. But it definitely just like
Yeah,
it wasn't like it was bad.
it's
I
just
don't want to like
weird. It's not Quake.
it just was boring to me. It was just like I felt like I was playing like Red Faction or something. Like just like a
Yeah.
random whatever like PS2 era shooter. Like don't take this the wrong way. It felt like Killzone at times.
Oh, okay.
In terms of like my level of enjoyment, not necessarily the way the game felt or reacted or whatever. Because at least in this game, like I felt a bit of agency over like shooting and like control and enemy stuff, but like the level layout and some of that earlier stuff was like a little meandering and a little
Yeah, there's some bad
cyclical.
backtracking in
Yeah, I just,
this. Like, go get the guy. You cleared the area. Now go back through, and then go grab the engineer.
right.
Like that. I think that's like literally stage 1 or 2.
It's
Um,
really early, and that was one too where like there's a spot in that one where you're led to this one spot, and I felt like I was discovering a secret. And then it was like, oh wait, no, this is just the path. This is where you're supposed to go. And I was like, okay, that's not cool.
and
I'm a
then
loser.
like early one. So I have another note here. Early one in stage 3. I make a note here. Oh no, is this shotgun weak? And I think
Hmm.
that's kind of like, and I without looking at the rest of it scrolling through, but like I think that's a little bit of a through line of the weapons. Some of them, like for as fun as they should be, did not punch. Like I used the shotgun at various points. Like it was useful, but it was not like Doom double barrel shotgun or
Mm-mm.
anything like that.
No,
It's one of the more lackluster shotguns I've ever had in a video game.
I agree. In the earlier stages, I found myself just machine gun for the
Yeah,
most part.
I
Shotgun was like when I ran out of ammo or I just like felt like doing something different.
yeah.
Um, but at that point, you get the grenade launcher pretty quickly too, so I was fine with just using that. Um, I never really relied on just the simple handgun. What was it called? The blaster. I didn't.
Yeah, and then so I don't complete all of Act One in my first play session, and I'm glad I made note of this because I've completely forgot about it. But I think I made this at so I play this like afternoon or early evening, and then I play, and I think my goal is to maybe play it the next morning at night in bed. I wrote this. I said it's all right, but I keep thinking about this game, and I'm excited to pick it up again tomorrow.
Hmm.
So
All right.
something
So all,
lingered despite like the beginning of this game. Something was lingering, and I don't know. I've mentioned there's like a few times where I just mentioned I like looking at this game.
I do. Yeah, that's fair. I really like the. I liked the enemies, even though like a lot of them blur together. They look the same. Whatever. Like, they're just kind of cool. Um. Yeah. I didn't make as strong of a note of that, but I don't disagree with that.
And I didn't even upgrade all the way to the high texture pactures until midway through the game. so
Oh, I never did.
so I
So
like
uh,
this is just me, just like regular high settings, bearing through it. Yeah, I finally got a mod that finally upscaled this
yeah,
properly. That was after that fight with the one level crashing on me.
yeah.
I got tired of
Oh
looking at the
yeah,
bubble
yeah.
textures. But yeah, no, something was lingering, and I don't know what. And then I don't know. At least the story. I think the other thing that happened too, like the story picks up in like stage 8 or level 8, whatever you want to call it, the perimeter defense station. The the squad starts getting wiped out, and like it feels more like you're starting to play by yourself more. And when I say by
Mhm.
yourself, like without squads, and that kind of raises the tension and some of the difficulty, and like it starts to feel like Quake, I think, for the first time, but you're still slow, and the weapons
Yeah.
just aren't punching. But it's like it was. I think that was like the first sign of hope that like this game could turn around. Like there's something here. Can we like just turn the corner? Like
Just
turn the
get there.
car, fight it. Like come on, bring us back. Um, and then there's a couple on rail sections that just feels weird in a Quake game. They were fine, but weird in a Quake game.
That
Um,
was one of the first times where mid mission I was like, all right, I'm done for the day, and I like didn't even bother to hit. I was like, I don't care where the checkpoint is, I'll come back to it. The one of the first like vehicle, like or not vehicle, but like the I forget which part it is, but the one where you're like kind of going on the big curve and
mhm.
you're like riding along. I think it was also because like something happened and I died or I failed or whatever, and I was just like, nah, I'm good. I'm gonna go do something else for a while. But
Um, yeah, you get a boss level. Um, oh no, this is the spider. It's this level where I kept crashing. The big you get the it's another driving mission, but you get the spider. Again,
yeah,
gameplay variety just doesn't feel like a Quake game. And then finally, you get to level 13. And it's I have to say I did like this whole like I'm not big on this game leaning too much into storytelling too much, but this sequence in the beginning of this level I think worked really well.
the
Like becoming
just
strong. Like
yeah, that is
that
the
first
most
person
memorable
the first person
scene,
perspective and just seeing like needles go right into your eye and shit. I thought was really cool.
dude. And like that part alone is like seeing it happen to you is brutal. But the worst part of this is like it's the worst amusement park attraction ride where like you're watching what's happening to the
Mhm.
person in front of you and you're like, oh, that's about to happen to me. Oh no, did that guy's legs just get cut off? Oh, all right. Yeah, that was like truly brutal.
Well,
I
I think
really, really like
I
that.
think the first one, it might be the legs is the first thing that happens. And I was like, all right, how do I break out of here? Like, obviously, I'm going to break out. Then I cut my legs off. And then I cut my legs off. And that's what I made there. I was like, oh, I think I'm becoming a strong.
Yeah. Yeah, because I didn't read the back of it to
No,
know
I
that you
didn't.
become. I didn't know that at all in this. And then I was like, okay, so what kind of weird stuff do you get? I did think, oh, I'll let you keep rolling. Keep rolling.
No, but it was just that like that whole thing. Like once that first like cut happened, I was like, oh shit. And then yeah, it is what you just said. It's the worst attraction ride ever. Because you're seeing the jump scare
Yeah,
happening. Well, like the haunted house jump scare from the group in front of you, knowing
yeah,
full well it's coming, but it still kind of works when it gets there because it's a different perspective. They're not really like hiding anything happening. And then yeah, you hop out that, or you get broken out by your squad rescuing at the last second, and then you move for the first time. You're like, whoa, it's fast.
it's finally fast. Like it finally felt like a Quake game, which just I don't know. Like I don't know if I like the fact that it finally gets there, or if I wish it just would have been there from the beginning. I know that I really did not enjoy this game until you were moving. Like,
This needed to
yeah,
have. I think this would be better if they just got rid of the on rail shit and this was like put like level 5. I think it'd be way more like if you want to tell a
yeah,
story about like, all right, this is the squad, blah blah blah. These are your boys, and then like shit happens, you get captured, and then level 5 or 6 you're Strog, and then like the rest of the 25 levels you're playing Quake, actual Quake. I
yeah,
think this game would have been paced a little bit better that way. But
yeah. I don't
unfortunately,
disagree.
you play more than 1/3 of the game at like a sub optimum speed, and
It's
it's not
tough.
the best. It's not the best experience, but I didn't have like a terrible time with it.
I was, I wasn't thrilled. I don't know.
I could see that though. Like this is I'll like if you once you if you would go and read the review that I have, like it very much mentions like if you're thinking this is just Quake 1 or 2 again, you
Yeah,
hit the
adjust.
brake.
Yeah,
Be ready for a stark difference,
yeah. But
especially at
also, I
first.
do think like not just the pace of your character, but the way enemies approach you in the back half of the game, the level design itself, all feels much more like what I expected out of a Quake sequel. Where,
Because you play it by yourself more. You're not with the
yeah,
squad. Like when you see the squad, it's like you're just there together to open a door, and then like
hmm
there to like maybe like you run into them, they can heal you real quick. But like
yeah,
especially the last third, you are by yourself for the majority of it. And
yeah.
that's when that's in my opinion when it starts to feel like Quake because you're not relying on AI companions or whatever. Um, I'm just looking through. I'm just looking through what I have written down here. I don't know any other kind of thoughts like when the turnaround of the Strog or when you become Strog or whatever or just
Not, no, not necessarily. I did think you'd get more powers or something. Like, you know, you can read their language now, so in the world, like things are more legible as you run around. But like, there's not. I don't know. Like, you don't get like a cool Strog vision. I don't. I don't know. I don't even know what else the Strog would have that I'd want. You know what I mean? But like,
yeah the like really guys you're kind of getting out of the escaping the facility because you kind of escape the facility then you move to um their like main like their nexus base or whatever.
Nexus. Yeah, yeah. That's the.
Operation Last Hope is it's called. um no, kind of escaping the facility. I kind of liked some of the body horror though that's happening because you're just going through this facility. There's like half humans being made in the
Yeah.
Strogs all over the place. So again, like mentioning how much I like looking at the game.
hmm
I kind of like the environmental storytelling there, but
I like that stuff, and I'd much rather that than like let's stop and stare at a
yeah,
bunch of guys standing in a semicircle with their names floating above them.
yeah,
Um,
because you get what I think you get 2 of those levels. You get 2 of those fun Halo 5. This is a level.
yeah.
Walk from
Now I
point A to
did
point
like
B.
the what?
The walk from point A to point B kind of
I
thing. Yeah,
just yeah,
for a
kind of
briefing.
boring. The the breakout scene where like they come in and they're like ready to murder you and they're like, wait a second, hold on, that's Kane.
That's Sergeant Kane.
And like they break the glass and the way that like animation was done was really cool. Like I liked that whole scene a lot. I thought that was a good set piece. Um, and then yeah, right after that, I have written down like when you get to walk up and like look at yourself in the mirror and you're like, oh,
Yeah,
gnarly. Because
yeah,
there's even like you physically look a little bit different than even the transformation log slide would have you have assumed. Like there's other things attached to you, armor and whatnot that they didn't necessarily do on that.
yeah. And your UI changes too. Like it turns
Yeah, yeah.
orange and stuff.
It's like yeah, those subtle changes are nice, but I still wish we went like one layer deep. Or like this is a thing where I feel like if this game were made today and this happened, like you'd have an RPG skill tree where like now you're upgrading your
For sure,
strong abilities or something.
for sure.
Um,
And also the zombies too at the end of this level, I thought were cool.
yeah,
At the end of this act, more so, I had them listed like the jumping half body ones, like the ones you think are dead, and then you're just.
I don't know.
I
Yeah,
saw the Doom 3 inspiration at times. I will say, even in the first act, there are like creepy times where you have your duct tape mod on your assault rifle and you're going through and there's just an enemy that will pop out. Doesn't happen much, but like in those times, I'm thinking to myself, like, I should probably play Doom 3 finally.
I've never finished Doom 3. I've played it. I've played like about the same amount of it multiple times now, but
Um,
I should do more.
yeah, then I think I made note again of the boss fight here. Um, this was the one, I forget the name of it, but this was the one that like would kept going to the tanks, I believe, and recharging, and you had to like shoot him off of them.
I'm trying to find the name.
Yeah, so like he had a armor bar and a health bar. You would take down the armor bar and start hammering his health, and then he would like retreat to hit like an energy tank and absorb like armor, and then you had to hit him off of it. Um, or you couldn't, and you just had to like DPS him quickly if you wanted to escape like a third turn or fourth turn at it.
Yeah,
I thought that was like a challenging fight per se. Oh, what you think of those dogs? Those dogs that like shook off the enemies and they spawned in.
I don't remember having too much trouble with them,
I feel like I died in those
but
sequences or in those rooms a couple times. Maybe not so much the dog itself, but like just get overwhelmed or flanked from another position.
yeah, I think generally speaking, the back half of the game, I was more overwhelmed than in the first half. Like I think also because it might have been too, I was playing a little bit more aggressively at that point, like kind of
Well, you feel
wanting
more
to.
empowered because at this point, like you have weapons. I make note like level 20 is when you get the dark matter gun, which is like this game's BFG. Well, not entirely, but like somewhat the equivalent.
I
Um,
really like the dark matter gun a lot.
I do too. I wish it packed
Like
a little bit more punch like the BFG does,
yes,
but
because
I
it
don't.
looks like it would be yeah, but I really like the way that thing looks. I like the coloring. I like the orb that fly. Like it's a very very good weapon.
Um, and then yeah, I like I don't know, I just yeah, go back to that point. Like I just feel like you at this point you move fast. You have your weapon set. Like you're starting to move like the game's starting to finally come together. Too bad it's in the third act, but like the game's finally starting to come together to feel like a Quake game. And I think it is like a fool's gold almost of like overconfidence finally, and then it leads you
Yeah.
to just like be over aggressive in situations. Which Quake 1 and Quake 2 have those rooms where you push and push and push, and then surprise flank from the sides, and that big ogre thing with the electricity is following you around and making your life hell and whatever.
I
Um,
did like even there was a stage pretty early on too where I got Doom influence of like, oh, we're in a monster closet. Like even like where the game had been slow and whatever, there was one spot, it was really early on, where like there's basically three doors, like two on the side and one in the back. And like they just keep kind of coming out from each section and you're like picking them off one by one in each thing, and like it gave me flashbacks to that classic Doom, even when the game was doing what I felt was like not very id like. But
Um, and then yeah, like as far as enemies go, I know we talked about. It's like a lot of the Trog. Like there's one that charges at you. Like I feel like they try to do some evolutions from some of the enemies from Quake 2. They go in some other directions. I made note of the floating witch enemy that started appearing in the third act. The
mhm.
one that would come out of those like weird capsules and like start teleporting around or whatever. I thought they were just a weird Strog psychic enemy or whatever, just a different set of
Something
pace.
different than like
Yeah.
a weird half man and a robot kind of thing.
Yep. Um, Said a good mix up for the end of the game, and when you had a few of them, they would start to become overwhelming. Um, There's one floating robot things that shoot you. I call them weird looking near things.
Weird looking near things.
Yeah, I think they're like shaped like the regular robots from Near Automata, but these ones like float and will shoot you. I
Oh
don't know
man,
what they're
I'm trying to.
called.
Yeah, I'm looking through different enemy names to see if I can even figure out what that would.
They relate. That's the only thing I can think to tell you. But yeah, no. They became kind of annoying at the end. Um, I don't think was it just a turret? No, never mind. That's literally just a turret. um,
The
no.
gunner or the glad? No, not the gladiator. I don't know.
Maybe it was the scent. No, that doesn't look right. No, it was the sentries. Sorry. When you look at the model in the picture, they don't look like it, but that shape has that like perfect cylinder type look.
And what did you call these?
They reminded me of just like the normal like robot enemies in Nier.
Oh, the little
Literally just like the
trash can
basic.
guys.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Like in action, when I'm not looking in detail at this model, I just saw that cylinder. I was like, these fucking Nier things are back. Get
Yeah,
away.
these reminded me more of like something from Nightmare Before Christmas or something. I
Yeah.
don't, just like a weird creepy little fella.
Um. But yeah, there's I think we hit like the main idea here though, where it's like this game is one thing in the first act. For well, maybe let's just say first third, totally different in the second third or in the second two-thirds of this, and yeah, and there's another boss fight that I fucked up. I couldn't figure out how to look it up at the end.
The final fight?
Yeah, I didn't
The
know I
final
had.
fight took me right back to Quake 1 where I was like, and I had to look it up and I'm
I
like,
didn't
okay.
know. I didn't even think to look up.
No, why would you? Nothing else in the game has been that way.
No, because I
But
got the first part done. Like first part, great. I mean, it took a couple tries, but got it. Then that second part happened. I was like, oh fuck. But even worse was that room in the Nexus core. It is a room. It's level 30. I think it's like the third to last like maybe like enemy encounter in the entire game before the final boss fight. But it's a room that just keeps spawning like the worst enemy types. And I think by far is the hardest room in the entire game. And I keep forgetting what it spawns, but like it is like the juggernauts of this game, and they come in twos. And sometimes when you kill the first one, a third one appears, and you just kind of like you start to run out of ammo of stuff that's like really good. And I feel like
yeah,
that's when I fired that dark matter gun like the absolute most was in that room. Um,
that level, I feel like there was probably one in Quake 1, probably one in Quake 2, and I'm just not remembering. But I feel like it's always the penultimate level before the final boss in a Quake game is always just sort of like, no, there definitely was one in Quake 1. Now I remember that one for sure. But like, yeah, you're just sort of like, Oh man, like not when is this over, but like when's this over? Because-
Or like how is this over? Yeah. No, that's like that was the final one. That was like the final like main note I have here. But yeah, no, I definitely looked up that boss fight. I did not think to look up at all.
no, yeah, I couldn't figure that one out. I liked his design though, the Nexus design, a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah, I like the
Um,
yeah, I like that. I like that design. Um, yeah, I think I like the way it's like it wasn't it wasn't I don't know I don't like it came in that era of gray, but it didn't like it was a shiny it was like metallic like it
yes,
didn't
it was silver, not gray. I
yeah
think that's
like
the difference with this game. Is like visually speaking, like if this would have honestly, I think PC lent a lot. Like I'm curious to see how different the 360 version looked, but I feel like if we'd played this on PS2, it would have looked like trash. If this had
probably
been released for that, like it
probably
probably would have run and looked like Killzone did.
yeah
Um,
I think yeah I keep just going back just to like the look of this game and whatever like I think that kept me intrigued early on enough to keep getting to get to the good parts of this game and I think
yeah,
some of the good parts are really good it's just at what point do you not call this Quake 4 and maybe like Quake colon the
enemy territory.
aftermath or something.
So that brings up a question I have. Like something I wrote down, like not for like podcast outline, but for me playing is can we say this is Quake or isn't Quake? What even is Quake? Because then I thought about it, like
Right.
Quake 1 and Quake 2 are so different. Like, is Quake a theme? Is Quake a gameplay? Is Quake and like I don't know. For me, I think ultimately this is Quake 4. Like it fits.
Yeah. No,
You
I
feel the
agree
same
with.
way?
Yeah, I do. I do. I think it's just not every game in a series is going to be a home run. I just think this is one of those ones that is good to great depending on how you feel about some of the different mechanics in this game.
Yeah. Before we get ready to rank this, I want to know how does Quake 4 fit into you have a bigger theme of exploring history of FPS stuff this year. How does this fit into that bigger theme this season?
Um I it it gets it tech I was more so putting it on the list. I've said a couple reasons now, but like another one was I've been trying to capture at least one game on one of the main engines. Now I'm obviously not going to get a game on each engine in each different of his eras, but like one of the things I wanted was like an id Tech game from this time, and I really don't want to play Rage, so I kind of settled for this one. Um, I like that was the key thing, and I think like id Tech, and I really haven't played Doom 3. I think I played like the opening of it on a PC that was not ready to handle that game. I always like the look of this version of id Tech, and then seeing it live, especially once I in like halfway through in some mod threw in a mod to like get the proper upres. Um, I like the way it looks, and I think I came to like how like the physics and some of the gunplay works. Now
Yeah.
the guns, some of the guns aren't my favorite, but I think there are still some highlights. Like the dark matter gun. Trying to like missile launcher, still a missile launcher. Grenade launcher still worked. I liked some of the modifications some of the weapons had. Um, like the missile locking mechanic, or oh, what? There was another one that I used a lot. Was it the maybe it was the blast rifle or something? Their plasma rifle or something had a an alternative fire. One of them had an alternative fire that I found myself using a lot. But no, I just wanted to see through something in this era. I don't know if that exactly answered your question.
No, it does. Yeah, I think so. Um, I think it fits. I mean, this was id Tech 4. We played an id Tech 3 game earlier this year with Return to Castle Wolfenstein. And again, both games that were not internal id projects, but using the properties it had worked on and the engine it had created. How do you think this stacks? I'm not talking ranking, obviously, because we'll get to that. But how do you think this stacks compared to that, just in terms of like the evolution of id Tech, the evolution of the first person shooter? Like, I see this in a way as like a bridge toward where we end up going with modern warfare and where Call of Duty really starts to sweep things. You can see the DNA here. What do you
Yeah,
think?
I think in terms of just like the game design is where you see that transition to like a story focus or a campaign focus. It maybe not so much an over reliance of just like cool level design or unique level design, um, and just levels and whatever. It's more so a good. This is a good example of kind of what you said, like a story focus. Um, and then yeah, I think it is cool to see though, just from like one version of id Tech to another, uh, going from Wolfenstein to this game, just the level of hardware improvement and capabilities, because there is a big jump in visual fidelity from Wolfenstein Enemy Territory to this game.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and it's just crazy to see that ramp just over time too, even going from like something from like Power Slave to what's something we played earlier in the year. I feel like they're like Power Slave to, I know Killzone wasn't on my list, but to like Killzone or
yeah.
do I have?
I think early in the year, that's kind of it. It was Wolfenstein, Killzone, Power Slave.
Oh yeah, let me look at the schedule. Do I have something later?
You got stuff coming up.
Yeah, well,
Well,
there's some stuff later, but it's not like early. But I think like going from, let's just, all right, let's rewind here. Going from like some like Power Slave to Deus Ex to
yeah,
Deus Ex to Wolfenstein, and then like Wolfenstein to, and kind of seeing that. And I know like those games are play completely different. Like I even have joked already in the Deus Ex episode, like that's not a first person shooter. That's just like a first person game. Like game design is
yeah,
completely different, but just seeing the advancement in like just visual fidelity and seeing how like these games are taking advantage of some of the hardware, and most of these are PC and they are showcased on PC, but like you said, like kill like seeing, I wonder how this game would look on like a, on, I want to see this. I should look at the 360 version or what a PS3 version would look like when there are two completely different platforms in the same generation. And then
yeah.
you have something like Killzone versus, isn't like there's a PS2 version of Deus Ex. Like how do those two games stack up? Do they look similar or whatever? So yeah, anyway, long-winded way of saying like I think if anything, this shows off how the hardware environment is quickly changing.
Yeah, and setting the stage for that next generation of PC hardware, because we kind of stayed there. I don't remember like a big generational leap after this one for a while. Um, you started to get more processing power. Things looked better, but it kind of felt frozen. I also wasn't heavily into the PC space, so I could be talking complete nonsense. But yeah,
Yeah, we need maybe John Littleman to explain to us the difference between uh
well, hopefully,
780 to a Voodoo graphics card,
yeah, yeah.
because I got a
Well,
good idea
after
what 1080 card looks
sure,
like.
once this is announced at QuakeCon, we'll have the side by side comparison on contemporary hardware versus yeah.
That's gnat that keeps
All
flying
right.
around. Sorry, I know it looks like I'm waving things off, but I'm not. I'm really
No,
not.
I had the same thing. I ate an apple earlier and I had it sitting here as I continued whatever, like after I had it sitting in a paper towel and it drew one out that never went away.
Mm,
So I also have it. He's just not been
conquered.
within batting distance. Not like the list, which is in direct batting list distance. Um, I'm gonna fire off first. I don't think you're gonna like it, but I've got my placement for the list. Um, I've got it at, and this is just for starters. Obviously, we go wherever. I've got it at 88. Below, I have no mouth and I must scream, and above, Little Big Planet.
Okay.
Was that the gnat or was that anger at
No, that was
the
an attempt at the gnat. That was an attempt at the gnat. All right. Sorry. What number did you say?
88 is where I landed, which I
Oh,
don't,
hold on.
yeah,
Whoops.
on the,
I need to hit. I need to remember to hit refresh sometimes. After periods of not recording.
no, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh, Fun fact: I use Safari for the list. I use Opera GX for everything else. um. Okay.
I, yeah,
Lower than what I had it, but
yeah,
we'll start there. For me, I had this as the new 45 between the Guardian Legend and RE Code Veronica X, which I gotta find 45. So, I will say this: I was in a range of games, and I leaned up
sure, sure, sure.
for sure. So, cause like cause I think I don't know why my eyes gravitated to like Resident Evil 5, and I like internally debated. I was like, is Resident Evil 5 a better game? Yes or no? And I kind of went to Dino Crisis, and I was like, And I think like the last half of this game is permeating more so than the first half. Um, but I think in double checking, I realized this is above Return to Castle Wolfenstein, and I don't agree with that at all. I think I just missed that game in scanning.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I don't, I think that's, but see, when you fall from Castle Wolfenstein for me, I do think you fall below Resident Evil 5.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Maybe it's stronger than Logan Shadow, but Logan, I had a good time with Logan Shadow. I thought
I
Logan Shadow worked really well for the
is it
PSP
I like
also.
in terms of like just straight up comparison, no, but in use of a hardware, I think Logan Shadow is just such a weird, fun, creatively
Yeah.
designed game.
Yeah.
Um, no, I'll keep dropping because here comes the outlier. Metal Gear Solid's come to play, so this game's definitely not
So
better than that.
check this out. I've been noticing something the last few games I've ranked because we had a little spot there in June where it felt like we weren't really ranking a ton of games and I wasn't looking at this list so much. But man, the last few weeks doing these, I'm looking at this list and I'm feeling better about where Metal Gear is. I know it shouldn't feel good, but in terms of like, I kind of feel like Metal Gear has become the new Devil's Crush for me, where I'm like, nah, I know that game's good. This game, like, where before I would kind of just view, I wouldn't even look at Metal Gear. I'd like block it out mentally and be like, oh yeah, we know that's in a weird spot on the list. But now I'm more like, nah, that's the middle point. Like that game rules, and everything above it clearly rules, and everything below it is rules a little less. So yeah, I agree. Quake 4 is below that.
All right, so here we're at 88, right?
That's where I was, only because I looked, and for me, it was more like,
Well, I'm totally debating here. So hold on, let me keep cooking because
all right,
I'm
all right,
cooking and it gets a little weird in the 60s, maybe high 70s. I think I like this better than Power Slave, but probably it should be better than Mass Effect.
Hmm.
Sorry,
Hmm.
no. Did I say that right? I think Quake 4 is better than Power Slave, but Mass Effect 2 is probably the better game, despite where it's ranked at here.
Sure, sure, sure.
So that gets
Yeah.
me to the very low 60s, very high 70s.
Do we split it then though, and just leave it there? Then just put it above Power Slave and below Glay Lancer.
I don't hate that because I really I do like this game, and as I keep falling, it does start to feel bad.
I agree. I also just felt like really once I looked in those 60s, I was like, no, 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 it's not up there. And I then started looking in the 70s and I'm like, I like X-Men 2 better than this. I like Bomberman better than this. I like Sonic Spinball. And I was like, all right, I'll put it above Outrun. And I was like, no, it's not better than Outrun.
I
And
think
that's,
that's I think that we start to disagree there. Like I think I rather I think I like this better than Sonic Spinball. I think I like this better than Bully. I think I like this better than Demi Kids. Like I in that once I get to 70s, I start to like more. I start to like this like Quake 4 over more games.
I think Demi Kids was my first, that like when I looked at the list, that's just where my eyes went. And I went, yeah, it's better than Demi Kids. And then I saw X-Men 2 and I was like, well, it's not better than that though. And then that's where it got messy and
Yeah,
I felt
I
quickly.
can see how it sharply falls for you.
Any of these, yeah.
Yeah,
No,
but
I
like
I like
I
it.
don't know, but like when I go like to the 80s working up, like I like this better than Little Big Planet. I like this better than I Have No Mouth. I like this better than
Yeah.
Anthem, better than Zillion. Snatcher's the first one I look at and hesitate, but I think I go back to playing Quake instead of like I think I like Quake better than Snatcher. And then I find myself back in the 70s kind of quickly.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm
Uh,
good with it if we throw it. Where did we say before? Above Power Slave, below Glay Lancer?
yeah, or you want to fall below Musha?
I could also fall below Musha, but then I'm like, do I like Bully over this?
I
Hmm.
like Bully. I don't know. My rating's high for Bully. My rating's high for how I think about the game after the fact.
Bully was good, it just got a little cumbersome.
Yeah,
I think that's my biggest complaint with Bully. But I like the ideas it brought. I like the stuff that it did, and you know, and I do think Bully got a little long.
yeah. Well, this game got long fast, and then decided to show up. So
But I didn't hate the length of this once I got into it though. That's the
yeah.
thing.
Um,
As heavy as the beginning is, yeah.
when I go, hmm.
No, let's go above Bully, below Musha. I like that.
Okay. Do what
Uh,
would that put it at? 72? 72?
eh,
That's how.
theoretically.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
No, no, no.
Well, that's how it is on the website currently.
Yes. We just don't know what it'll be. We streamed last night, you know?
Oh, right.
So this might be the numbering might be off, but
I
we know that it's below Musha and above Bully.
okay.
It might be the new 72. Maybe.
Maybe. Yeah, notice these episode numbers, and then there's lives. So tune in for that
Yeah.
live and see,
Yes.
or rewatch that live, or you
We
should have
watched
been
that
there for
live.
that live.
um,
Kayfabe.
always. Yes.
All right. Yeah, I think I made some after the fact notes because I knew I completed this like a few weeks ago. I got ahead here. One of my lasting little notes was I'm left a touch underwhelmed, but momentum was building towards all of this working like a Quake game.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment. Do you think this is better than Doom 4? which would be 2016.
Wait, what?
I'm comparing fours here. That's where I'm getting at.
Oh, okay.
Quake 4 better than Doom 4?
Quake or Doom 2016? No shot. No. What do you
Is
say?
Quake
Sorry.
4 better than
Sorry.
Halo 4?
Maybe.
Call of Duty 4?
No. 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 That's not even me including the multiplayer.
What other games have fours?
Black Ops 4. That's the one. That's Blackout. I
Is there?
I.
Man, right. I was like, no, have they made four of those? I was like,
Yeah,
yeah, of
no,
course they have. They made six last year and
Sorry,
sevens this year.
sorry. It's maybe not a 4. It's a I. I.
Yeah, that's a good point.
What other? What others?
Well,
I mean,
Super Mario Brothers 4.
I was gonna say, are we going outside FPS? Because there's Resident Evil 4
Yeah.
twice.
Video games are a nightmare.
They really
Um,
Yeah, this is a
Speaking of
fine.
nightmares,
I was gonna
yeah,
say,
go
at
ahead.
the end of the day, I think this is a fine game. Just go in not expecting Quake 1 or Quake 2. I think, I think your expectations of what this is going to go a long way into your enjoyment of this.
Yeah.
Or if you want a Quake 1 or Quake 2 and you think this is it, just don't play it. Maybe that's the way to go because you just might be disappointed.
Yeah, I think so. We'll see. We'll see if QuakeCon brings. The one thing we do know for sure is that next week we will be in Kyoto. Not literally. I wish we were in Kyoto. We should have planned that better. You know, we should have played Cosmology of Kyoto, taken a trip to Kyoto.
Oh no, have you played that game yet? Have you messed with it yet?
I've not started it yet, so I'm
Let's just say maybe spiritually you'll get there.
okay.
There's some weird. That's a foreshadowing. That's a weird game.
Well, yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and you should too. Next week we'll be back with that one. Before we drive up the highway to Tokyo and see what's happening in Tokyo Extreme Racer 3. All of that as we continue our summer journey. Until next week, thank you, Matt. Thank you for hanging out with us, and we'll see you next time. Bye.